Yo, sorry, y'all. I thought I was unmuted. I was muted and I was talking and dabbing. So I think Glenn might be in here now.
Hello.
Yeah, I'll just edit that out if I ever get one of these shows on YouTube. I was straight up talking, telling about everything we're going to talk about today. Saying smoke a joint. I did really good, man. I was like some major influencer vibes going on when I was doing it, but nobody heard it, so I can't prove that. But no, real quick, just to summarize everything again that I just said while I was on mute for 3 fucking minutes. We're going to talk about Biden's appointees, talk about the quote unquote proper way to protest. We're going to talk about Madison Cawthorn a little bit more than we did the last time, the leaked documents from the Supreme Court and what that means for Roe versus Wade and women's rights. Um, talk about some of the rallies that went on and what happened there. And we're going to talk about how fucked up Tennessee is. So, yeah, I feel like I just said that much better the first time.
Yeah, that's kind of a bum deal, but
I go so far to say that was the best monologue I've ever given anywhere ever. And it's probably the best monologue anyone's ever given. So, too bad nobody got to hear it.
that's an outstanding Trumpian description.
Yeah, nobody
It was
monologues
the
like I do.
it was the best intro monologue ever.
The best intro monologue you've never heard.
Ever.
Ever.
So that was a perfect spicy description.
Yeah, man, I was like, take a toke, take a dab, hit a bowl, hit a joint, hit some wax. I was really into it, man. I was feeling the vibe, and I was muted the whole time. You'd think for somebody that spent a lot of years doing recording engineering for a living, I'd be much better at this, but it's different when you don't have a bunch of people staring at you and paying you money.
And, and it's still just an app.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, everything gets screwed up from when we were on Spreaker to now. Oh, I got
Oh
to
well.
talk to you about equipment later.
Whoa.
God damn. Apple fritter gelato is awesome.
Interesting. Never heard of that.
I mean, you know, half these weed names, people just make this shit up unless it's a solid strain. And sometimes they try to pass off a strain that isn't that strain as that strain.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done that before. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've grown some plants and forgot what they were and was like, we're gonna name it Fruity Haze. Some random. And I've seen people do like, what is this? I don't know. Why didn't you label the bag? I don't know. Okay, we're gonna call this such and such, and it's just like whatever. Oh man.
Well, that happens. That happens. But the most recent thing that I've tried that I approve of
Now I should be
is
muted, but I'm not.
cherry pie.
Oh yeah, that's bomb.
Yeah, I
That's
like
that's
it.
it. I've had indoor and outdoor cherry pies. It's pretty good. Oh man. Okay, enough with the dabbing. Ugh.
See, this is
So
the
yeah,
difference. This is the difference. You're like 5 in the afternoon on a Monday. On my time clock, it is 6 a.m. Friday.
wow,
So I'm kind
dude.
of
I just
laying
noticed.
off on that.
I just noticed I can see you talking on the phone. I usually close the app, but I'm trying something different today to leave the app open.
Yep.
Because there's been a couple times people were listening and wanted to say something or comment, and I didn't even see them. And one time I heard about it and it was like the show was over. And then the second time we let the guy in, and that was pretty good.
Yep.
I know you were saying you could let him in too. I just was explaining so people don't feel like we screwed them over on purpose. Anyway, um, so yeah, Biden's finding these sellout black women. And the reason I'm calling them sellouts is because they're taking fascist positions of power to uphold a white supremacist system. One of them's a press secretary and one's a judge, the Supreme Court judge, um, who is cool with police. So, how she'll probably go ahead and rule along, with some pretty bad shit, just like everybody's hero RBG. Um, every time I hear that, I think revolutionary black gangsters, but they're talking about some old white judge. Oh man, or red, black, and green, because dead prez. But anyway, these people are going to these positions. If you think this woman isn't going to lie to you any more than all the white ones before her lied to us, you're wrong. If you, I mean, Clarence Thomas is a black judge. He might be way worse than this woman, but they're all bad. And then we got
Well,
Biden. I mean, look at, Harris insinuated that Biden was a racist before she ever was his running mate when she was running against him. And then she quote unquote
well,
fell
that's
in line.
different.
Yeah, now it's different. But I don't know. Did you see the video when he was talking about the good old days when he could disagree with segregationists and racists, but still go out to lunch with them and have a friendly lunch afterwards?
Well, this is like people talking about, yeah, I remember when we used to play against Team X, and after the game, we could all go out together. It's just a game during the season. It's not life or death. But now you're not even allowed to admit you know somebody on the other team. So, this is just another one of these
Yeah,
excuses of, I
I
wish
didn't
it was the
understand.
old rules when we were all part of the grift, but now we've separated the grift games.
Yeah, I know that's kind of probably how he meant it, but what he said was, if that other team is a bunch of straight up racists, we could go out and chill with them afterwards. No, it doesn't work like that. Only
Yeah, it
people who
used
chill
to,
with
yeah.
racists Only people who chill with racists are racist. Biden's a white supremacist, man. He wrote the Clinton crime bill. He worked on a Patriot Act. He took credit for the Patriot Act. He didn't even write the full thing. He's like, I wrote it with the Clinton crime bill already,
Well,
with all the
like I,
bills he was writing back then, all those racist bills. He's never voted for a war he didn't love. And then when he didn't, the one war he didn't vote for, he apologized and said, I should have voted for it. He's a scumbucket, man. He hates anyone who's not white. He
well,
just uses them.
the one thing I will always remember about Senator Biden is being the chairman of the Clarence Thomas hearings and sitting there smiling as Anita Hill was
Yeah.
destroyed. That's what I'll
Yep.
always remember first about Joe Biden.
Yep. Definitely.
So, he can talk all he wants about how many pieces of American history he's been involved in, but that's the number one piece of American history that comes to my mind when we talk about our Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a
But
he's a
yeah,
horrible he's a horrible racist warmonger.
well, this is
He,
just evidence of what democratic uh, wishing for the old days is. Just, business as usual, but friendly. And that's it.
yeah,
Now it's business as usual, but it's so confrontational. I liked it when we all got along behind the curtain. Yeah, whatever.
yeah. Who wasn't chilling with them and their white supremacists back in the day? A bunch of non-white supremacists.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
just
well, actually, I think you can also kind of put the analogy on what he's trying to get across here. It's just like if there's 10 people at a table and a Nazi sits down, you got 11 Nazis. That's what he's trying to gloss over. Same shit.
exactly.
Same shit.
You know
But
that's
hey,
relevant almost every week. that
No
that that
kidding.
becomes relevant. It's you know,
Yep. Because
yeah, I
they're
could pay.
everywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Es- Especially if there's power and money involved. They're everywhere again. So, hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm just retweeting this show out because we only have like 1.3 billion listeners right now.
Oh, no.
It's not enough.
Is the Pope on it?
No, I've fell out with the Pope many times. I'm sure you know. Doesn't
Well,
listen anymore. He's a jealous bitch. He wish
well,
he had our show. The Pope wishes he had our reach.
I don't
Our
I don't know
social.
if I don't know if that's good or bad. Oh well,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Take it how you want. But yeah,
Uh,
it's a
okay,
screwed up situation. Go ahead.
just this is just something I wanted to say to get it out there. Maybe some listeners remember me talking about the issues with my laptop, and it was an Asus and a Republic of Gamers Strix. It was a big fucking Ferrari. Well,
Yeah,
I finally had enough of that piece of shit. I was using it, and then all of a sudden the red light started flashing. I'm like, oh yeah, now what? And I looked
that's why
at the
you sound so
tray.
clear today.
Well, no, this is on the phone anyway. But
Oh yeah.
so I looked at the tray, and the battery icon had an X over it, and it said no battery detected. And I'm like, bitch, what are you talking about? So then I went to Windows settings to battery, and it said 100% power. So it's like, okay, one of you is lying. So I figured, well, let's find out. So I unplugged the AC, boom, computer turned off with a full battery in it. And that was the last straw. So, Asus, fuck you. I'm never buying another one of your products. That's the second motherboard that shit the bed on that laptop. That should never happen. So, you're out. I had to buy a new laptop because I no longer trusted that one. When shit like that starts happening, you got a fire hazard on your hands. So it's like, goodbye. So now I'm back to Acer. And so far, so good. Everything works. Imagine that. So just wanted to say,
Yeah.
Asus, fuck you. That's all.
Fuck Asus. Yeah, that was a whole issue. But yeah, it doesn't matter now. You sound clearer. Maybe your internet likes your new computer more.
Perhaps. Acer used to be Canadian once upon a time.
Yeah. So you know what I'm seeing on Twitter right now a lot?
What's
A
that?
bunch of liberals and conservatives crying and moaning and bitching about going to politicians' houses and protesting out front of a politician's house, and that's a violent threat, and it's this and that, and it's not the right way to protest.
The
You
right
know,
way to protest.
and then you hear the same in their last breath. They're like, "But you need to go out and vote." So making these people fear the people isn't the right thing to do, but going and doing supporting them, supporting the lesser of two evils, which is still an evil, that's the right way to show your support, to protest. No, voting doesn't work. We need to get out there. We need all these politicians' houses surrounded. We should have chief of police and sheriff's houses surrounded. We should have the White House surrounded. Things should be on fire. There should be millions of people out in the street. The way things are going right now, but they're not. And this is a sad thing, like I said before. As soon as a Republican gets back in office, everyone will be back out in the street again, like they weren't promoting all the same shit just a month before.
But again, like we've said, how many times it's all about which jersey you're wearing, which team you're on. The thing that gets me about this, oh no, you should never do that, is these people just accept that the way the priorities are, the way the what's the word I'm looking for? The way the allowances work, that if you're in the system, these are your rules. If you're just one of the little people, oh, well, we have all kinds of different rules for you. And for you to be respected and listened by people on the inside, you have to follow our rules. You know, it's almost like some after hours club. If you don't know the fucking password, you don't get in. Never mind what's going on inside. Well, somebody who was here will tell you about it tomorrow, and you should just trust them. I mean, this is the same old shit. And the two things about this, I gather specifically, you're talking about the demonstrations around the House of Piss Tank Kavanaugh. And the funniest thing about this is the media is trying to make this into some big deal, some brewing street battle. It was organized by the people who live all around him.
Yeah, the
They
neighbors were
hate,
like, we organized this.
yeah, you know, the media shows up and says, this is so unfair to the neighbors. They didn't ask for this. And then the spokesperson for the neighbors says, yo, bitch, we did ask for this.
This is
This
our
guy's
shit.
stuck. Yeah, you know, this guy's a piece of shit. And we don't want him next to us. But he is. So too bad. This is what happens. And then you look at what's happened in France in the last 24 hours.
Oh yeah, they're
In
burning all
France,
kinds of stuff, banks and cop cars and everything.
yeah, and this is over one law, one part of one law that they want to bring in.
It's
And
about
people,
police brutality, right?
yes, it's about
Yeah.
reporting and filming about police brutality. And the government is trying to outlaw it. And the people are
Okay.
saying, yeah, you don't like that? Check this out, mon ami. So, you know, this is the thing, you know, this is why I always find it so funny that every time France disagrees with the United States, especially in foreign policy, the American media and the pundit class start making fun of France and degrading them.
Like
But,
they're
you know,
passive and weak and all that. Yeah.
yeah, but the reality is they're the ones who demonstrate for democracy, for basic rights, 100 times more than the so-called bastion of freedom, the United
Yeah.
States.
Unfortunately, when they're criticizing France, they're talking about the willingness to go murder a bunch of innocent people overseas. They're not talking about um, standing up and fighting your own government because that's never good in their eyes.
Well, exactly.
Although the running up in the Capitol and killing cops and beating people up on trying to assassinate political people that you disagree with, which would be everyone for me, um, was legitimate political discourse according to one political party, and I agree with them. The only thing I disagree with on that whole thing is the reasons they were doing it and who was doing it. When a bunch of Nazis go and try to install a fascist dictator, that's not the right reason to be storming a capital. If you're trying to free all the people, get equal rights and justice for everybody, that's the reason you should be storming the capital. You see what I'm saying? So I wasn't opposed to how they did it. I'm opposed to why they did it, not the what or the how, just the why and the
Yeah,
who.
but that seems to always be the way it is, though, right?
But if somebody I was in line with did the same exact thing, those same legitimate political discourse people would be outraged.
Oh, of course.
I mean, they're outraged. People are standing out in front of a judge's house right now. So that should tell you everything you need to know.
Well, the other thing that makes the Capitol January 6th so different is that, you know, as as has been proven, but it doesn't seem anybody wants to do jack shit about it. Over 150 of those assholes who were elected were in on it. So, I mean, we can talk about their game and how ridiculous it is and how there's no other word, it's just ridiculous. But, when they can't even play by their rules because they don't like the results, it's a circus. There's nothing legitimate about it. It's just merely an established way things are done. Doesn't serve a purpose, doesn't improve much for the people, except for the people who don't necessarily need any improvement, especially from a government. But you get what you pay for, apparently.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, man, protests should be whatever they need to be. I mean, do I need to go over the St. Paul principles? Like that says it all. That's what everyone should abide by, I think.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
people can look them up. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Yeah, just real quick. Our solidarity will be based on respect for a diversity of tactics and the plans of other groups. So that means you respect what other people.
Yeah,
Oh, they're
but
just burning
I
down
mean,
buildings. How dare them? You support whatever they're doing. The actions and number two, the actions and tactics used will be organized to maintaining separation of time and space. So, like, if we're gonna go do some mayhem kind of stuff and get their attention, the people that want to sing "Kumbaya" and hold picket signs, we don't do things at the same time. So you don't endanger people that want to have a parade, with your actual protests.
yep.
Three, any debates are. This is another one that people need to really pay attention to, especially the way social media goes. Any debates or criticisms will stay internal to the movement, avoiding any public or media denunciations of fellow activists and events. So, yeah, if you got a problem with somebody on your side, don't make it public. Deal with it privately. Get it situated and move on. If you can't, come to an agreement, then separate and go your separate ways. But don't ever make it public because they like to take that and use it against you. The media loves that. The cops love that. It's just giving them fuel to their war machine or brutality machine or whatever.
Well, yeah,
Cops do
that's.
that with activists and they do it with gangs. They try to sow discourse within the groups and divide and conquer kind of shit.
But then when it's made public that there are actual gangs within law enforcement, it's like, oh my God, how
It
dare
makes
you?
even it makes even more sense to that, doesn't it?
Yep.
Here's number four. This is the last one. We oppose any state repression of dissent, including surveillance, infiltration, disruption, and violence. We agree not to assist law enforcement actions against activists and others. That means you don't snitch. You don't talk to the cops. You don't organize and get permits with the cops. You don't get cops permission to be there to do any goddamn thing. And if something jumps off and you get arrested, you shut your goddamn mouth and don't say nothing. Take it like a G. I mean, if you choose to do something with a group of people and some of you get caught and some of you don't, why do you want everyone caught? And you got to switch the roles. What if you wasn't the one caught? Would you want them to be like, well, they were doing it too? Telling ain't never good. It's never good. It's never righteous.
Well,
So yeah, that's the St. Paul principles.
it just amazes me of the basic concepts of what cooperation and solidarity actually mean that so many people just can't comprehend or refuse to comprehend. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Yeah, it just kind of
Yeah.
seems like if it's not about me, I don't want to play. Gee, where did that attitude come from?
I mean, because like when people go to the mayor's house or they go to a judge's house or they go to a politician's house, my first question is, how come the house isn't on fire? And other people are like, oh my God, that's a step too far going to someone's home. You see the the problem there?
Yeah, and it's something that's been imposed as a standard. And of course, where did it come from? I mean, where I live, there have been ministers in the government that are such pussies because somebody criticized them online. They use their political influence to find out where that person lives, and they've gone directly to their driveway and yelled at a private citizen because they criticized their job in the government. So, apparently that's okay. But if people want to protest them, oh my God, no, we can't have this. It's terrible. Bullshit.
I mean, Alex Villanueva was putting people's names out there. The
Yeah.
Los Angeles sheriff is putting civilians in danger for being critical of his criminal activity, for bringing things to light. He's taking out ad campaigns using ad money to talk to try to bash just civilians. You know what I mean?
And this is
Who
paid
who
for
have
with
who
money that is collected through taxes.
yeah, and those people don't care. If you're donating to Alex Villanueva, you're all in on fascism.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real about it. Those people don't care. Those are the people that will go out and try to find these people and attack them, though, or dox them, or hurt them, or do something.
Well,
Those are
on
the
this
crazy
score,
people.
I don't see much difference between Villanueva and Andy. No, they do the same thing.
Yeah, just on different levels and different scales. And one has power, and one's just a
Yeah,
grifter
but
without any power.
but they do the same thing. They
Yeah,
rile
and
up people who are willing to attack innocent people.
yeah. I mean, if Villanueva loses, he probably will go
Asshole.
on to yeah, he'll probably go on to some media outlet, as a expert, quote unquote, or something. If he's not in prison, if he doesn't go the Lee Baca route, which I'm really kind of thinking that might happen. We talked about on last week's show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could look it up and listen, and I'll have it on YouTube eventually. I'm so lazy. It's not. It's nicer just to have it download and be able to put it up instead of have to record it. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let's spend like a couple minutes on this. Not even a lot of time. Madison Cawthorn. He hates gay people. He hates trans people. But then he gets caught in pictures wearing and I'll tell you why this happened in a second. He gets caught in pictures in women's lingerie at some party. He gets caught in a leaked video of him naked in a bed with some dude that's allegedly his cousin, and he's humping on his face, you know. Um, but it was all joke. It was all just joking,
Oh yeah.
according to him. But now here's the thing. He said something about Republicans are old and ugly, and that's why he doesn't go to their cocaine fueled orgies. And then everybody started saying, wait, what? Wait, the people, the Christian bigots are the family values people are having cocaine fueled orgies. And all of a sudden, all this stuff starts coming out on him. You know what I mean? And he's been problematic from the get go. I mean, oh, they also got a bunch of pictures of him with his hands on other dudes' crotches. Like he's just leaning on a boat with his hand on some guy's crotch. And it's the same guy that he was in bed with, one of them. So, yeah, I think like we talked about this before, a lot of these politicians have a lot of dirt on each other. And that's why they don't go full, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Because
I
they,
mean,
they don't want their stuff leaked, and they know what they got. And they're like, what do they got on me? They know what they got on them. So it's just
well,
like, they
this
these guys, they're rich. They hire private investigators to get dirt on their. They're crooked as hell.
no, this is like Fight Club. This is the issue. I mean, yeah, of course, Cawthorn was recruited and promoted and whether it was legal or not, sent to Congress to do exactly what he's been doing, and that's to be a shit disturber. Nothing else. He's got no intellect. He's got no scheme. He's got no plans. He's just there to be a dickhead and make noise. And that's all well and fine for the GOP until you start to talk about what they do in their spaces, in their time. Now you're breaking the rules. Now they'll throw him under the bus because he's too
Yeah,
stupid to keep his mouth closed. So again,
I
this
mean,
is, I mean, at least most of the Democrats, the people they recruit that are shit, at least they're smart enough to shut up about all the dark stuff in the background. But these new Republicans who, the free dumb crowd, they're just too stupid to know when they've got privileges way over what they deserve, and they can't even shut up about it. So, I mean, fine. This is like cannibalism. Go ahead, destroy yourselves, you fools. Recruit some more fucking morons that are too dumb to figure it out that when you're in the mob, you don't talk about the mob.
yeah, but this is the thing with a lot of these people, man. Like he hates gay people, he hates trans people, but
He hates
he's
himself then.
dressed he's dressing like a woman and doing some stuff that could be really, let's say, misconstrued as super gay, you know?
This
Um
is just
he
just
he,
more
he votes
self-loathing idiot sticks.
he votes against legalization of weed, but there's pictures and videos of him smoking weed. I mean, he's famous for the drunk driving incident. That's why he's got where he's at, I think, right?
Yeah,
Um, he's illegally carrying guns in airports, but he can't be arrested because he's a congressman and they're above the law.
yeah.
We talked about that a little bit last week. He's always getting caught driving without a license, talking shit to the police. These people that support him will get mad at me for talking stuff. I just got a YouTube comment like 2 days ago was saying you seem like a real winner. I hope you grow up one day. Just always getting these bad. But this guy, he talks crap to please. You know who I am? How dare you? And berates and belittles them. Not as bad as I do, but
Yep.
in a smug kind of way it is. And then he goes and dresses up like Hitler. And I mean, he goes to where Hitler was and said it was refreshing to, see history or something. And he takes a pose exactly like Hitler in the same spot Hitler took it, posing like him.
Mm-hmm.
And what the hell's wrong with this guy?
A lot.
He's a gay weed smoking criminal who hates every category he checks the box of. Like you said, he's self-loathing. He hates himself, I guess. And then you got the Nazi crap on top of that. I just don't get it. It's like it's just such a weird. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand that whole mentality. You're a hypocrite. You're everything you supposedly hate, and then you're a Nazi too. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
there certainly is precedent in that part of it, combining being a Nazi and also being, shall we say, a little off the beaten sexuality path. I mean, they had their share of those people too. So
yeah,
again,
but you, but why rally against what you are?
because you're selling something else. That's why.
I guess. Anyway, I think that's enough about him unless you got something else because he's so insignificant as far
Well,
as my mind. You know what I mean? He's
no,
done. He's
yeah,
done, dude.
he's just another one of these one and done idiot stick Republicans that should have never been there in the first place.
Yeah. Dang. I never mute the right time. Um, so yeah, we should move on to the big story, I guess. These leaked documents from the Supreme Court, and like what I say, leak all the things. I know you say the same thing. Um, So yeah, people found out what we already knew. I mean, when Amy Coney Barrett was put in, she was put in to do one thing and one thing only. That was to overturn Roe versus Wade. I don't think all the rest of them were worried about heaven on earth and all that other weird religious stuff. They just wanted to, you know, keep a promise to their most wealthy, loyal backers, the far white, right, Christian, right, whatever they are. So, yeah, so it looks like the court is going to vote to overturn Roe versus Wade, taking away a woman's right to choose what medical procedures they need for themselves. And a bunch of religious zealots, mainly white men, one black dude, and a religious zealot woman are voting to overturn it. So that's where we're at. And she, you know what she said, Glenn? She said that they need a domestic supply of infants. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. But I mean, the issue that I have with this is the this is the highest level of hypocrisy behind this that I think has ever happened in so-called civilization. I mean, for a long time now, for decades, and it just seems to be getting louder more and more these days. These people talk about how they are Constitution originalists, and the Constitution must be interpreted as it was written, blah, blah, blah. Well, there are over 3,000 words in the United States Constitution, and not once does it mention God, church, religion. These idiots always want to harp about the founding fathers. Well, the founding fathers were quite united in their belief that the church has no place in government, no place in making decisions for the population. But yet, these clowns carry on as if the Constitution is the only law, and then they throw in because God created it. The absolute opposite is the truth. But these idiots will just take the most obvious direction from the origins of this sacred document and lie about it. They're willing to lie about the foundation. So, I mean, once that happens, you can't believe anything coming out of their mouth after that. Now, as far as
You, you know, it doesn't mention abortion at all, besides the Constitution.
no, the thing is, though, Roe versus Wade was based on not definitively women are allowed to get abortions. It was based on the principle of privacy of American citizens from the state. So now, in reality, what we have is the Supreme Court of the United States saying that privacy is not guaranteed under the American Constitution. Say fucking what? You know, I saw a meme that was a picture of the five Republicans who support this so called leaked draft, and it said, radical mullahs issue fatwa on abortion. And that's exactly what it is. It's no different. People like to bitch about Iran and ISIS and Al Nusra and all these other radical groups. What the hell is so different here? The color of their skin, the language they speak. That's it. That's the only
Yeah.
difference.
Well, here's the thing I was saying. The Constitution doesn't mention abortion, and neither does the Bible. In fact,
Well, the
I
Bible
think,
does.
well, no, no. Where does it say anything about abortion?
No,
It does say if you,
The Bible actually says in a couple places that if a creation is so evil, it must be eliminated. So,
Well, the penalty for an abortion or hitting a woman in the stomach where she loses her child is to pay off the husband who she is property of, basically. I mean, that's how serious their deity takes it. So, yeah, I don't know where all this comes from. Um, yeah, like these people are nuts. I mean, here's the thing, though. Republicans are saying, quite a few of them are talking about, well, if we could do this, and they're cheering this on, they're praising God and everything. They're so happy. If we can do this, what other rights can we eliminate?
yep.
We can and marriage equality. That's why they're going after the gay people so hard right now. They're trying to take rights from all kinds of people, transgender people, women, gay people, black people, constantly, just like always, immigrants. I mean, it's, I think it's
Well,
because they know they only have so many more years before it's not a majority white nation anymore. And they're flipping out about that.
well, this is just it. I mean, all of these laws that they're going to be going after. I mean, now it's Roe v. Wade. They're also going to be going against interracial marriage. They're going to be going against
That's
same-sex marriage.
that's a
And
little
these
less popular
but
with
these are
them.
all based on the same concept of privacy of the American citizen from the state. And for these
And
nine clowns to sit there and say that this greatest document ever written does not guarantee privacy of citizens against the state is the ultimate blasphemy. These people are just completely against everything that they want people to think they represent.
yeah,
I mean, in the United States, if an American citizen does not have a guarantee of personal privacy from the state, guess what, people? You're not a democracy anymore.
were you ever though? Was
Yeah, but I mean,
everybody ever treated equally and given the same rights and had the same input and power to make things happen? No, this country's never
no,
been a democracy.
no, but this demonstrates that nobody is safe now. You know, it's the same old
I
thing. They
think
came for the communists. I wasn't a communist, that sort of thing. That's exactly what this is.
I think white
Everybody is available to be shit on now.
no white Christian males might have a better advantage in this situation.
For now.
Yeah, that's true. Until they try to challenge the power some kind of way.
That's right. I
So
mean,
anyway, with this going on, there's been a bunch of rallies going um, on both sides of the issue all across the nation, as I'm sure you and everybody else knows. Um, and there were a couple things at these rallies that happened that were problematic. The main, most important one, I think, is during the pro-choice rallies in Los Angeles. Um, the police were being violent and started a riot as always. I mean, you always expect if there's a riot, the police came and started it. I've never seen anything different. The difference here was there were federal DHS pigs showing up to do crowd control. And that's unusual, you know. And it wasn't around the federal buildings. It was like a couple blocks from there where they were at.
well, this has always been the
I've
problem. This has always been the problem with DHS. What is their jurisdiction? Like, these guys are the friggin' Gestapo. They can
yeah,
go anywhere, do anything, based on what? You know?
I got into it with them once during the we were protesting at the LA detention Metro Detention Center. We had one driveway blocked off, and people been camping out there like 80 something days. Um, And yeah, so everyone was out there, and the DHS was following this woman and harassing her. She was one of the people at the camp. I mean, like in a sexual harassment kind of way, trying to talk to her. So she came back looking nervous. They came back around the corner, and me and a bunch of other people got into it with them. I got a video of this up on YouTube somewhere. But yeah, they were DHS, and they were over there for a protest. But it was a metro detention center, which I would think is a sheriff's territory and LAPD on the streets. But on the inside, it's sheriffs and LAPD on the streets. But the thing about it was these these you can watch the video. They were trying to say I was some kind of sexual offender, and they saw me on some list and blah blah blah. Isn't he the one that they were saying? I didn't know till later. I had to look it up. They were saying all these codes, these criminal codes. You're that one, aren't you? And I'd be like, whatever, dude. They were trying to, and then I looked it up. I was like, wow, they dirty with it. But yeah, they don't got nothing on me ever like that. So that's their little bullshit. And that's what these right wing people do immediately, like, oh, you don't like this person, groomer, pedophile, sexual predator. And I would say the people who think to come up with that first and foremost, I would question some things about them.
Projection.
Honestly, yeah, like that's not the first thing. If I have a problem with you, we can just get into it. I'm not gonna be like, hey, I know you do creepy things to kids or whatever. Yeah, that's just that's weird. That's just a weird place to go.
Well, again, it's just based on conjecture and it's based on shock value. It's not based on facts. It's not based on reality. It's just trying to make a problem out of thin air. And I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. Then they tried to say I was throwing homeless people out. You can watch the video. That's an old video from a few years back. Just look up our channel and Metro Detention Center or DHS or something, Homeland Security. I don't know. But yeah,
but
it's I got it on video there, but it's just so dumb. It's just so dumb. But they were the ones there. That's my whole point behind all the BS. They were the ones there. So I have seen them out at protests before. That was my whole point in this whole roundabout tangent I just went on.
well, this is what the American public just seems to have no grasp to understand. This Department of Homeland Security can be accurately compared to many government bodies in other places from the past, and none of them are good. And they go under names of Geheimstaatspolizei, which is better known as the Gestapo, also known as Mukhabarat in many Arab countries, Stasi in East Germany. These are state agencies that have no interest in being accountable to the public. They are given powers behind closed doors. They override everybody. I mean, I remember when I was a kid watching the ridiculous satire of Hogan's Heroes. And I remember thinking, okay, this prison camp is run by this incompetent colonel in the German Air Force. But yet, when a major from the Gestapo shows up, everybody falls in line and obeys him. How does this work? A major is below a colonel. But it was the badge, not the rank. And this is exactly what DHS is. They can show up anywhere, anytime, take over, change everything. And apparently, people are okay with
I,
this.
I'll tell you the other time I saw him, I had like I was going to a court for a court appointment I had, and it was when my PTSD was really bad, but I started to go to court. So I'm trying to go into court, and I'm already stressed out. They want me to take off my belt and check in my shoes and walk through the metal detector. So I'm already mad about that because I feel like that's just, PTSD. You don't want to deal with that shit. You just want to get in and out. And I got to go see a judge and all this crap. Like I got to go into a courtroom. So These cops come and they see I'm tripping out a little bit, acting weird, and they got guns drawn at me. I'm in the corner, and all this stuff happened. Some lady, some court clerk helped me and took me and got me away from the cops. And I guess she saw I was having some kind of attack, so that worked out. I didn't get killed, but coming out of the court after I dealt with the judge and all that, there was DHS cars all out front of the court, like watching me, just because I had a PTSD attack. I mean, I
This is
might have
just
got loud and stuff, but this is because cops was grabbing on me and trying to push me and had me in a corner. One had a gun out, it's like, come on now. Might have been a taser or a gun, I don't know, but I was in a bad state of mind right there. But yeah, it was just some BS. But when I came out, it was all DHS out front. Inside
just
with
because
sheriffs,
they can.
outside with DHS.
Just because
Yeah.
they can. That's it, man. There's no
So
point.
like,
There's no purpose.
so yeah, I have seen them a few times in weird situations where they don't seem like they would belong. That was my point in saying that. But showing up
Yep.
to do crowd control to protest, I've never seen them do that before. And I've been lots of protests. I've seen feds out there a lot, but DHS, I ain't never seen them.
Well, it
Like I'll
almost
see,
seems to me like they needed some field level coordination to stir shit up. That's why they were there.
yeah, I don't know. I wasn't there. I, my work schedule's screwed up. I can't be doing a lot sometimes now, which sucks. I'm trying to fix that. Buy my shirts. uh, Shameless self promotion. No, but yeah, it's just the other thing that happened though was in New York, and I saw the video of this too. It was a bunch of people protesting, and there was these cats out in front of the fire department. One of them had a fire department jacket on with a name on it, the logo and all that, like embroidered actual fire department jacket. And he's screaming at these people. The court made its decision. I'm the people. Your bodies are mine. This is a white dude telling the women there that their bodies belong to him. So people were rightfully outraged. This guy's out front of the fire department wearing a fire department issued jacket or whatever pullover sweater, whatever it was, what it's like what the firefighters have, right?
Yep.
So then the fire department precinct, wherever it was like, no, he's not one of ours. But then people online were saying, but if you have that jacket, you have to get it from somebody. Is he somebody's son? Is he somebody's brother? Who is he? So yeah, they're keeping that secret, but they know who this guy was. And he's a fool, You out there talking shit with your people's logo on.
But that's
This is
just
stuff.
it. I mean, he
But
did it on purpose.
your bodies belong to me. That's what he tells a bunch of women protesting the 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 overturning of their rights. Your bodies belong to me.
Well,
The
I guess
people have
apparently.
spoken. I'm the people. Like, how sick is that?
Well, I guess apparently, without God, you can't put out fires. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just ridiculous. These people think that their beliefs, as soon as they become part of a club, then the club should adopt their beliefs because that's the right thing to do. I mean, this is
Well, I
just
guess
ridiculous.
the fire department didn't denounce or condone. Well, they denounced that they don't take political actions, and that was a political or stances, and that was a political stance supposedly. But then he shouldn't be wearing their paraphernalia.
Well,
I
the
don't know.
bottom line,
I
the
don't know
bottom
about fire.
line,
Oh, go ahead.
no, the bottom line is in a place with accountability, that guy should have been fired as soon as he quit talking.
Well,
But
he didn't work
he's
there.
not.
That's the thing.
But he's not. So what does that tell you? That tells you that he has superiors that think exactly like him.
Or yeah, or they're hiding him out for somebody that works there. Because like they said, he doesn't work there. But it doesn't, they didn't
Doesn't
say he
matter.
wasn't a family member or someone who worked there or a friend or something. You have to be like a relative to get that shirt. That's what everybody's saying online.
That's right. There should be accountability, and there's not. So obviously, he's
And it
not an outlier.
had a name embroidered on it too. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, some goofy ass name.
Poindexter
Um,
Goering.
but yeah, there's a lot of really nasty, terrible, vile people out there with the love of
Who are
Jesus in
getting
their hearts.
airtime. Who are getting airtime. That's the bottom line. That's all these fucking asshats want because they want their 15 minutes. America, fuck yeah.
There's a lot of those right wing streamers that are like tweaking and doing all kinds of weird stuff, and it's getting leaked out. There's a couple of them that's pretty way out. I don't know their names or anything. I don't keep up on a lot of that unless they're in my face. But they're pretty famous ones. You know, they're ones that threaten a lot of people that I respect out there. Um, yeah. One of them, I got a video of this one cat. I don't remember his name either. I thought he was a cop. I talked about him on the show a couple times. We were downtown protesting, and this fool comes barreling up in a truck like he's gonna run people down. So a bunch of us is like walked over, like, we're gonna try to see if we go open the doors and drag him out or something if he trips. And then he jumps out like he wanna fight. And yeah, he's one of these famous Nazis. He was walking around threatening houseless people, and he's always fighting people at these protests and stuff. He's yeah, he jumped out the truck, but he looks like a cop. He looked like he was a cop, and we were in front of all the sheriff, the jails and all that stuff, and the courthouses and all, the city hall and all that stuff. So it was like, I just assumed he was an off-duty cop. He was in a big ass truck, threatening to run people down. But
Well,
yeah,
it turns out he's just another idiot stick larper.
he's not white though.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like something else. There's quite a few
Confused.
of them. There's quite a few of them that aren't white. But I got used to that with Nazi rallies. There would be this in NSM rallies. There'd always be this old Mexican lady out there banging for the Nazis, like 1,000% snitching on people, the police, because nobody's gonna hurt her. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
try to talk to her like, you're confused. Come on now, what side are you on? And she'd be like snitching people. They threw something at the Nazis, or they threw something at them. And they point people out like she'd be in the crowd snitching. If she was anybody but her, she would have been disappeared into the crowd. You know what I mean? But most
Well,
people
that's
aren't gonna.
exactly why they look for people like this.
But these are swastika wearing white supremacists. Like, she was always with them. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how they connected. I don't know why she loved him so much. I don't understand any of that. But yeah, they definitely used her to their advantage. What a sucker.
Yep.
But yeah, she was always such a problem, man. Such a problem. But nobody's gonna hurt an older lady. This is just being evil. So yeah, I guess we close what we talked about the DHS. Yeah. So I guess we were just gonna go touch on how fucked up a place Tennessee is. I mean, they're trying to legalize child marriage. They're trying to make homelessness a felony. They're trying to say abortion is equal to murder charges. And they want to basically, what did I say here? They want to run their state like a despotic, authoritarian theocracy.
Well, I would refer to it as the Levant of Tennessee because this kind of dogmatic extremism, everywhere else in the world, it's called insane, it's called evil, it's called absolutely contrary to the idea of religion everywhere else in the world. It's a terrible thing, except in Americans' own backyard.
I don't know, man.
Tennessee, well,
I just,
Tennessee is just leading the parade, but they're by no means the only one.
I'm just saying, I would tend to say that some of these people actually read the Bible and believe it and support it. It's a horrible book and it has a lot of horrible things in it, you know. Talks about killing a lot of different groups of people for a lot of different things. It talks about owning slaves. It talks about slaves obey your masters if you want the New Testament. It's a terrible, terrible thing. And these people, I would say that they're not going against their religion. They're right on with one interpretation of it.
But it's
I don't know.
ridiculous.
Oh, of
But
course it's ridiculous.
this is the exact same excuse that people who are involved with radical fundamentalism in Islam use. It's like, well, no, we read the book. This is what we get out of it. So fuck you. We're not doing
Yeah,
anything
no.
wrong. It's everybody else who's doing something wrong. Blah 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 blah. It's the
Well,
same
that's the
thing.
thing. You got 1,000 different mosques and 1,000 different churches, and all of them believe different beliefs based on their interpretation of the same basic thing. So a lot of them are the same basic beliefs, but then some are way more radical and militant, and other ones more mellow and loving and caring. You know, they take different parts of the books and use that and interpret them differently. You know what I mean? Which blows
Yeah.
my mind already. If it's the inspired word of the Most High Deity, I think it'd be a little clearer. But anyway, we're not here to bash religion. I'm just saying Tennessee sucks because of this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Indeed, they do. But I mean, again, look at the difference between France and Tennessee. What's going on? Where the fuck are the people? Why is this not? Why are there not riots in Knoxville over this bullshit? Because there should be.
You know what I don't understand though, besides the religious stuff, you got a group of people, the Republicans, who say, like I said this a few minutes ago in a different way, but they say we don't want government invading in our personal lives. They're supposed to be this party of small government. You know, government stay out of me. Don't tread on me, all that crap, right?
Yep.
And what happens? They're the ones that's impeding on treading on everybody's rights. Well, not everybody's, but most groups.
Yep.
It's pretty
Again, you know.
hypocritical.
Well, it's
Very
beyond
hypocritical.
hypocritical. It's beyond hypocritical because, in my mind, a hypocrite is somebody who basically says one thing and does another. This is beyond
You,
hypocrisy. This is crossed the line into just, this is like Handmaid's Tale. This is just, never mind. We'll do whatever the fuck we want. You are ordained to listen to what we tell you you can do. And if you bitch about that, well, then you're on the shit list and we're coming after you. This is beyond hypocrisy. This is militant hypocrisy. This is
I mean,
hypocrisy with a price.
according to both religions, most religions, most of the basic, basic religion, the biggest ones, they, what was that? They tend to look at women as lesser, as someone that needs to submit to men almost as property
Oh,
or
that's
as
built in. Yeah.
property. So it's not surprising some of these things they do.
Well,
I
that's
mean, they talk
because,
about murdering groups of people, so there's no big mystery why they hate gay people. If the book's saying these people need to be murdered, it's a twisted thing. And some people just take the worst out of it, and some people try to find the best in it and not look at the worst. And that's all you can hope for with these religious people is they're trying to take the best out of it and not the worst. But it's like a toss up. How do you interpret your book?
well, I think
Because
it
they
just
they
proves,
definitely got the worst in all of them.
Well, I think it just proves that these ancient works of fiction were written by men. That's all this proves. You know,
Well, that's because women weren't allowed to study and learn how to do a lot of things in a lot of societies back then.
it's
It-
they're just
It's
trying
it's really that bad.
they're trying to codify subservience. And that's another issue too. When you talk about this leaked draft from the Supreme mullahs about Roe v. Wade, Congress has always had the power to codify the decision of Roe v. Wade. Congress has always had the power to make it law, to put it above the court, but yet they've never done it. Why?
Wouldn't-
I mean,
can- I'll tell you.
In Canada, the issue of abortion has basically it makes noise, but it doesn't get anywhere because decades ago, the fundamental decision was made by Canada's federal government that abortion is not a criminal matter in any form. It is a health care matter. And that's the way it's stayed. People say abortion is legal in Canada. No, abortion is not subject to law. That's the difference. And that's possible anywhere if they choose it. But, there's a lot of money and mileage and clickbait and everything else. It's again, it's like Noam Chomsky.
I mean, I think I'll go ahead with Noam Chomsky, and I'll tell you what I was thinking.
Okay, as you muted.
I said, go ahead and tell me what you were saying.
Oh, okay, okay.
Finish, and then I'll go ahead. Yeah.
I heard that wrong. But Noam Chomsky has always said that America, especially domestically, has this illusion of this great debating space. That's what proves we're a democracy. We can discuss anything and have opposing views. But what you're allowed to debate are things that'll never get solved, and it's a very narrow road what this freedom of debate covers. Because if you want to talk about police, no, can't talk about that. You want to talk about the US military running rampant around the world? No, can't talk about that. But you want to talk about God, you want to talk about abortion, you want to talk about sexual orientation, that shit's never going to stop. And they're going to make sure that there's never a decision. It's just noise, and it's all for ulterior motive and to push specific agendas. And they think that's a democracy. That's what they sell. And, business looks to be pretty good, unfortunately.
I don't know. I think this is the best thing that could have happened for the Democrats, and they know it. For fundraising, for you know, politicking. They go out there and they be like, "You need to vote blue to save women's rights. You need to vote blue so we can codify Wade, Roe versus Wade. You need to vote blue no matter who, so we can fix this." And but they were in full power when it happened. That's the
Exactly.
part. That's the part they ain't telling you.
Exactly. It could be, like I said, it could have been done at any time since the 70s, but it's never been done.
But they're gonna fundraise like never. They needed another Trump thing. This is another Trump thing to fundraise on, to campaign on. You watch, mark my words. Ukraine ain't gonna last forever like this.
Oh, yeah.
They need something else, and this is the thing. They're gonna go crazy. They're gonna try to have big Democrat marches for it. Where Pelosi will be out there, and AOC will be out there, and photo ops, and Sanders will be out there, and Schumer, and and that's that. They're gonna go crazy campaigning for it, and then the Republicans can do the opposite. They can say, "Look what we did." Photo ops out there cheering with Jesus, right? It's just it's all a game to them. It's all a sport. It's like a wrestling thing or a football Super Bowl or something. It's all about making money and ratings and money. Trump was just honest about that when he's always talking about his ratings. They all care about that. They're scum, man. Politicians are terrible people. That's why I don't support any of these politicians these people be promoting. That's why I hate these times of year because everybody's got their favorite guy or woman or whatever they're trying to push through. And I won't retweet any of that. I won't support it. I won't boost it. I won't do none of that.
But this is the one thing that we may be approaching. They can do this, they can try to divide and put people on whichever team they want to support, but things are getting real now. This is very close to Roe versus Wade disappearing completely. And it just seems to me, being outside the US, that not enough people give a shit. And this is the thing. This is what they have to protect with their great game of red versus blue. When people start just changing the channel, they both lose. It's getting too far. And people are so sick of everything that if nobody turns out, America's going to look very different in a very short time. And if nobody wants to do anything about it, well, buyer beware, you know. I mean, I definitely understand what you're always saying about it's all bullshit. None of it is worthy of support. Yes, it is. That's correct. But do you keep saying the game sucks as you get flushed? Or do you actually wake up and do something, And that doesn't mean that you have to support blue to defeat the evil red.
Yeah,
No,
the
hate the
problem
game.
I hate the players and the game. This ain't the game. This ain't even the quarter field I'm supposed to be on. But this is the thing, though. These cats, man,
Yep,
they're just like we don't get a choice. It's like fascist or fascist. One fascist is slow and steady. The other fascist is fast and furious. Take your choice. I choose
yep,
not to choose. I choose to say we outnumber them. Let's all get in the streets and tear stuff up and make demands, and do whatever we got to do. But it without the numbers, it's undoable. You know what I
yep,
mean?
yep.
And then when you get the numbers out there, everybody want to be peaceful protest. Let's go and march to sign up people to vote, and you know,
No,
let's get a permit from the police. We're not here for that. Don't tear down their tape. Yes, officer, we will go the other way so the Nazis can march. Thank you for your service. Can I have a hug, officer? I mean, come on, man.
and yet at the end of the day, you look at something so simple as egging, and it managed to make all the big tough wussies in Oakland disappear. I mean,
Well,
that's
it
how
also made one start
shallow.
shooting.
Well, that's how shallow all these fucking clowns are. That's all it takes. But yet people just, sit there and
Man,
scroll and say, "What do we do? What do we do?"
that dude's counting his blessings. He's sitting at home like, man, I dumped on some fools for throwing some eggs, and they ain't even looking for me. They're trying to investigate who threw the eggs.
Yeah.
I'm not going out for a while. I'm gonna lay low and everything gonna be gravy. Come
No.
on, man. That's where we at.
That's
Somebody
why.
throws an egg. Somebody throws an egg at a Nazi. The Nazi gets mad and shoots at him, and they're investigating who threw the egg, who did the shooting.
Yep.
Come on, on
Absolutely.
video with the license plates, man. It's not hard to find them.
But again, do they want to? That's just it.
No, evidently not. They're not even investigating the shooting. They're investigating the egg throwing. That's how twisted this country is, dude. I don't know. It's just funny to me. It's just so terrible. It's like unbelievable, but it's really true, you know? Like they let
Yeah.
these cats do so much stuff just because they fascists and they got that blue lives matter, thin blue line bullshit. Then they go in the Capitol and beat some police to death.
It's because they're not policing the right way.
See, that's my thing, man. I've said it before. This is a win-win situation. You got pigs, politicians, and Nazis or white supremacists or whatever they are, MAGAs, and they all three fighting each other. Nothing bad could come of that. Whatever casualties and injuries and deaths there are, they all the enemies anyway. Good riddance. So
But
yeah, I don't know. I just
but
had
it's
like I said at the beginning of the show to come full circle again. I wasn't upset with the how or the what. It was just the who or the why that I didn't like. You know what I mean? I didn't like the fact that a bunch of fascists were raiding the Capitol to install a dictator, a fascist dictator. I would have loved it if it was for power to the people. We're taking this thing back. Everybody's going to have equality and freedom. We making our demands. That would have been another thing, you know. I wasn't upset about the people going up in the Capitol. I was upset about why they went up in there. So yeah, people need to think like that. I'm seeing like the horror of the Capitol, and could you imagine? And these poor Congress people, these poor police, and some of them are like these poor Nazis. No, fuck everybody involved in that thing. And if they were doing it for the right reasons with the right people, I would have supported it 1,000%.
but that goes against the whole model. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. You got anything else?
Nah, I mean, it gets to the point where, unfortunately, it's like, yeah, shit's normal. Nothing works, nothing helps,
Nothing
and
to see here.
yeah, exactly. Just yeah, whatever, move along. I mean, I understand it if people completely check out. I really do. I understand it because yeah, it's the realities are bullshit. They should not be realities. They should be concepts that are defeated. But that battle is being lost little by little every day, and it seems that far too many people are okay with that. And I mean, I said something similar to this at work just this past week to somebody who's about half my age. And I said, you know, I don't really give a shit all that much anymore because I can see the end of the road. I'm not going to be here in 2050.
Oh,
I probably won't be here in 2040. I may not be here in 2030. So, all you people fucking shit up, you get to deal with it. So, good luck, you know?
yeah.
I mean, everybody only has so much in their gas tank at certain times about certain things. And sooner or later, you're going to have to figure it out that guess what? This is your fault, not anybody else's. So, good luck with that, people.
I can't top that. So yeah, I guess unless you got another um parable for us, we can
No, that's it, man. I mean, just another week in Bizarro Earthland.
yeah, I'm gonna really try to start getting these up on YouTube. Um I know I say that every week, so why say it again? I'll just do it when I do it, right?
Yeah, well, I guess so.
Yeah, you know what the problem is the background. I gotta come up with something for the background. Like you can't just put an audio on YouTube. That was a good thing about Spreaker. It put up that little, the waveform for you. But
Yeah,
yeah,
well, that's what I did for years when I took my shows and put them on YouTube. I had to put together the slideshow.
oh yeah, I forgot about that. You did awesome slideshows.
So I mean,
Yeah.
that's coming from BTR where they had the slideshow in the player page. So it's it's kind of like, oh, okay, I'll do this. I mean, when you have to do it manually yourself, you don't just upload pictures and the platform does it for you. Yeah, it takes a little longer, but it does help demonstrate whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. I should think about that, but that's some work and I'm lazy, so we'll see. Yeah, I guess that's it then. We should end it.
All right, man.
So thanks as always, Glenn, and hopefully we'll be back next week and hopefully this will be on YouTube by then. Fingers crossed.
All right.
All right, man.